Greetings from Jobsite India. World top news. A new initiative from our end. Hope you are gonna enjoy this. The people who are practicing English, they can also have a great help from these. So, without further delay, let's start our first slide. Israel's new Prime Minister Naftali Bennett promises to unite nation. Israel's new Prime Minister Naftali Bennett has promised to unite a nation frayed by years of political stalemate. He said his government would work for the sake of all the people, adding that the priorities would be reform in education, health, and cutting red tape. The right wing nationalist will lead the unprecedented coalition of the parties that won a confidence vote by a resounding margin of just one seat on Sunday. He succeeds Benjamin Netanyahu, who has forced out of office after 12 years. Mr. Bennett, the leader of Yamyapa Party, will be Prime Minister until September 2023 as part of a power sharing deal. Let's move to our next important slide, please. G7 World leaders promise 1 billion COVID vaccine doses for poorer nations. Leaders of the major industrial nations have pledged 1 billion COVID vaccine doses to poor countries as a big step towards vaccinating the world, Boris Johnson has said. At the end of the G7 summit in Cornwall, the PM said countries were rejecting nationalistic approaches. He said vaccinating the world would show the benefits of the G7's democratic values. Let's move to our next important slide, please. Aung San Suu Kyi, trial of ousted Myanmar leader begins. The trial of ousted Myanmar leader Aung San Suu Kyi has got underway 4 months after a military coup removed the elected government from office. She is charged with owning unlicensed walkie talkies and violating COVID restrictions. Later, trials will focus on allegations or corruption and breaking the Official Secrets Act. Human rights groups have commended the trial, describing it as an attempt to stop her running in future election. Ms. Suki, 75, has been held under house arrest since the 1st February coup in the Southeast Asian nations, and little has been seen or heard of her part from her brief court appearances. Let's move to our next important slide. Carlos Ghosn, US father and son, admit role in Nissan chief's escape. An American father and son have admitted helping ex-Nissan chief Carlos Ghosn escape from Japan in 2019. Father, US Special Forces veteran Michael Taylor, 60, and his son Peter, 28, were extradited from the US over claims they straggled Mr. Ghosn out of Japan in a luggage box on a private jet as he awaited trial. At a court in Tokyo, the pair said they didn't contest the fact laid out prosecutors in an indictment. They face up to 3 years in prison. Mr. Taylor and his son replied no when asked by a judge if there was anything wrong with the charges submitted by the Tokyo prosecutor's office on Monday, news agency Reuters said. Let's move to our next important slide, please. Ethiopian migrants face robbery, extortion, and starvation close. Every year, tens of thousands of Ethiopians begin the perilous 2,000-kilometer or 1,200-mile trek from their home country to Saudi Arabia, attempting to cross mountains, deserts, and the Red Sea and ever a war zone. Some of these migrants describe how they face robbery, extortion, and starvation in temperatures of around 50 degrees Celsius. Many die along the way, while others fall short and end up begging in the streets. Let's move to our next important slide, please. Ziona Chana, head of world's largest family, dies in India's Mizoram state. A 76-year-old man, believed to be the head of the world's largest family, has died in India's Mizoram state. Zeonachana, the head of a religious sect that practiced polygamy, died on Sunday, leaving behind 38 wives, 89 children, and 36 grandchildren. The news was confirmed by Mizoram's Chief Minister Zoramthanga, who offered his condolences on Twitter with a heavy heart. Chana reportedly suffered from diabetes and hypertension. Let's move to our next important slide, please. Christchurch mosque attack. Producer resigns from New Zealand movie after backlash. The producer of the movie about the Christchurch terror attacks in New Zealand has pulled out of the project after mounting criticism over the film. Philippia Campbell apologized for her involvement and said she hadn't realized the hurt the film would cause. The proposed movie, They Are Us, is supposed to focus on Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern's role during the 2019 shooting and two Christchurch mosques. The shooting was New Zealand's worst terrorist attack and killed 51 people. Let's move to our next important news. American Airlines invests $25 million in UK flying taxis. American Airlines will purchase flying taxis to ferry passengers high above the congestion of crowded cities. In moving ahead with flying taxis, American announced on Thursday that it will invest $25 million in Vertical Aerospace Group Limited, a UK based electric aircraft startup. American said the air taxis, which are electric and take off and land vertically like helicopters, will hold four passengers plus a pilot and travel at speed of up to 200 miles per hour. Let's move to our next important news, please. Novavax COVID vaccine to be made by Serum Institute shows 90% efficacy. Washington. Novavax's COVID 19 jab is more than 90% effective, including against coronavirus variants, the vaccine maker said Monday after a large scale US study. The jab demonstrated 100% protection against moderate and severe disease, 90.4% efficacy overall. The company said in a statement, adding the study enrolled 29,960 participants across 119 cities in the US and Mexico to evaluate efficacy, safety, and immunogenicity. The Maryland headquartered company said it intended to apply for regulatory approval by the third quarter of 2021. Let's move to our next important news, please. WhatsApp launches privacy campaign after backlash. WhatsApp has launched its first major privacy focused advertising campaign in the UK. It follows a customer backlash against changes to its term and conditions announced earlier this year. The platform also said it is standing firm against pressure from governments, including the UK, to compromise on the way that it encrypts messages. Authorities should demand more security rather than less. WhatsApp boss Will Catchert told the BBC. Let's move to the next important news. Novak Djokovic targets Golden Grand Slam after French Open win. Novak Djokovic says everything is possible as he targets a Golden Grand Slam in 2021 after winning the French Open for the second time. The 34-year-old Serb has won both majors this year after lifting the Australian Open title in February. He defends his Wimbledon title this month before the Olympics and the US Open. I have put myself in a good position to go for the Golden Slam, said Djokovic, who won his 19th major by beating Stefanos Tsitsipas in Paris. Let's move. Thank you very much for watching till end. You are kindly requested to subscribe, like, and share with your friends. Don't forget to hit the bell icon for latest updates from our end. Till our next video, do take care of yourself and have a great moment ahead. Thank you once again.